Hello, welcome to another Arts Academy podcast for Friday the 15th here. Um, not too much in general news to share with you guys, but we have a few things that we can talk about. I guess the first thing is that the scheduling portal to sign up for next year's classes is going to be open on Monday. So definitely keep a lookout for that. Hi. And Ms. Alvarez is joining us as well.
Hey.
Um, if you are interested in taking a math class over the summer, that email to sign up went out today as well. So keep an eye in your email for that. That's going to be Algebra 2, Geometry, and Pre-Calc over the summertime. They will all be online. We haven't really come up with exactly what the day is going to look like. I think that's going to be up to each individual teacher, but the class will not meet in person. So it'll be online. And then again, it'll be up to your teacher whether or not you have to check in on certain days or whether or not you just have to do an assignment or something like that. So our next question is about graduation. So let's talk about graduation. So, Mr. Richard, you want to take that one? Start
Sure.
off.
I mean, it's the hot button topic right now.
Yeah.
I guess as of last week, it was decided that there was going to be a virtual graduation. At the moment, based on the comments made by Governor Murphy, they're going to reassess and see what we can pull off. As far as I know, the comments were I don't want to say vague, but they weren't specific to what we could do and what we can't do. The Office of Emergency Management and the State Department of Education would have to make that determination. But if they tell us that we can do something else, then I think that they would reassess and do something else. So at this point, I know for a fact, a lot of people, Ms. Reyes just said, a drive-through graduation. I know that we don't have 300 spots in front of the building. So I don't know how they would do that, where they would put cars, but that's something from a logistics standpoint that they would have to figure out if that's the path that they want to go. Again, it's not our decision, but this is something that's going to have to be discussed with, Dr. Jamarella, obviously Office of Emergency Management and the State Department of Education. Some people had sent do it in somebody else's parking lot and things like that. Again, I don't know if any of that stuff is under consideration. What I know is that the state is going to determine if we can do it where we want to do it. I know that for sure. So that's really all the information that I have about graduation. There have been a few emails that have come in, and I know any email I got, I forwarded to Dr. Jamarella, and I know that they're assessing what's possible.
I do know that the.
Can I say something? There's Tony talking. Yeah, how come I can't hear anything? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Can you hear us?
On the phone, sometimes that happens. Cats, you may have to go off and come back on.
I did that already accidentally. All right, let me do that. Bye. I'll see you in a minute.
One thing I do know that's going to go out for graduation is the senior advisors are going to be sending out the surveys for who, as seniors, you would like to have speak at graduation. So definitely look out for that. That'll probably go out either today or early next week. For you guys as a class to choose who you would like to be your two speakers for graduation and who you'd like to give the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah. So if we wind up doing it virtually, that'll be recorded. If we wind up doing something at the school, we'll have to work that out logistically as well.
Hey, I'm back. I can hear you now.
Good.
Very good.
I couldn't hear you before, Tony.
Okay, well, sorry. Now it's working, right?
Well, you got to hear the host.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Clee shared his circle time with me, and I really loved it. I loved what he did, and he brought a lot of the kids were bringing up graduation and being like really upset about it, but he brought in like topics of, I guess like kids have to realize that there's different perspectives here. Some kids are going through family members that are sick, and they're afraid of risks. So like with this whole graduation thing,
And the
I think
topic of
everyone needs to
some
just
families don't have transportation, and so everything's being considered. And
yeah.
That. Mace asked about the majors.
Yeah, like,
you're going to get a Google form. I think everything opens up on Monday, Mace, so you'll be able to start picking what you want.
It's definitely going to be next week. It should be Monday. I don't want to commit to Monday.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Then sometime
it should be Monday. Yeah.
And then we're also Paula also has a question about the caps, gowns, and yearbooks. There is we are trying to figure out logistically how we're going to do that. All the seniors might have a specific day and time that they're supposed to show up based on their last name, and you come to the school to pick up your cap, gown, yearbook, and the contents from your locker and any other personal belongings that you might have in the school. So especially seniors who won't be back next year, less of a concern for the underclassmen. But
Tony, were you on that conference call the other day?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. I didn't even know who was on and who wasn't. So yeah, I was gonna say you have all the information I would have said anyway. And Ms. Reyes, I just emailed you. I sent you the email. Okay, if you need anything else, just email me. Let me know.
And that was. I don't think I had too much else that we wanted to talk about. I know that Mr. Bucci and Ms. Alvarez had a nice college prep webinar podcast this morning.
Yeah, we did junior college prep, and the link will post it again so that you can rewatch it if any of the juniors that are on didn't get to attend. And I think we have something for the parents in the works. So
yeah, and if you want us to do like a tutorial, just leave us a comment so that we know to do that for you, like a tutorial on Common App or navigating Naviance, whatever you need. Just let us know.
I could also send that out to all the parents and students, juniors, parents, and students. If you want me to do that, I can send it on School Messenger.
That's a good idea.
Just to get it. Yeah, it's all on YouTube, right? You did it on StreamYard?
Yeah.
I watched about 5 minutes before, so yeah. And I think it was like an hour long total.
An hour and 15.
Hour 15 minutes. Yeah, so I can send it out. Actually, I send it out right now while we're on.
Cool.
Any highlights that you guys wanted to hit from that real quick?
From the junior presentation?
Yeah.
I guess APs. Everybody's always talking about APs, and I think a big issue that seniors have is dropping APs too late in the year. They get nervous and they realize they're struggling in an AP class. So make sure you're realistic about the APs you're requesting and the APs you want to take.
Or thinking about taking too many at once, really,
Yeah. I had kids that were asking in February to drop, like AP Calc.
And from what
you can't do that.
From what I've heard from the scheduling meetings, the administration is going to be very much stricter about dropping classes, and we were pretty strict about it this year. We really didn't let anybody drop a class unless there was a good reason after the drop date in late September. So expect that to happen again, and especially for math classes, just know what you're getting into. So a lot of the math classes, especially next year is going to be very, very tough for everybody. Coming back after this, break, and how we're actually going to come back, nobody's really sure. But when we do come back, we as teachers know you're going to be a little bit behind. We're going to need more review. So if you're signing up for an upper level math class, realize that the first bit of it might be stuff you've seen before, and you're going to be thinking, oh, this class is easy. You might start to relax a little bit. Just don't get into that mindset too much, because it's eventually going to pick back up, and I don't know, some of those upper level math classes get pretty hard. So, just be ready for that.
Yeah, Mace, when you start doing the form, it'll have a switch major, switch academy form. So but you're in you're an MVA, so I mean, it should be whatever you want to take should be right there for your. I guess you'll be picking the one for your next 2 years because you're going to be a junior. I can't believe you're going to be a junior already. It's funny to see the freshmen that are already going to when I first started are going to be juniors already. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Bush, to pick up on that, for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, there's really not much choice, right? Like if you were a freshman and you took Spanish 1, you're going to be taking Spanish 2. Your major junior year, you'll pick your major. If you're MVA, I'm trying to think what other decisions there are for junior year. Whether you want to take Spanish 3, I guess. And if you don't,
you could keep going with your language, and you have a good chance of AP language, AP Lang.
Yeah.
So those are two.
Really, and then if they didn't want to take, let's say they were taking Spanish 1 and 2.
That's another thing. I got asked if they could take a different language. I think like if someone did, if someone could take Spanish 1 junior year. If they didn't take Spanish, if they took a different language, if they take French for 2 years, they can do that.
Yeah, they could do that. That's possible.
Sorry to cut you off. That was I wanted to get into that email that I got.
No, I mean that's more or less what the decision is.
Do we know where kids can get sweatshirts? I'm sorry, because I had an email from I think Evian, asking me about sweatshirts. Evian Fernandez. Where we can get sweatshirts?
Miss Young is the only person that's selling school gear right now, school spirit wear. So
yeah, I don't think anything's available online.
Nothing's available now, yeah.
Okay, so Miss Young.
Yeah, Miss Young. She should email Miss Young. Maybe I'm pretty sure whatever Miss Young has is probably in her office at school, so I don't think she has access to it. But I don't think anything's available online. Although I see Tony working right there. What are you trying to do? An online store, real quick?
We could do something like that. Maybe we should set that up over the.
Yeah, we should do an online store. Seriously, it'd be nice.
It's not a bad idea.
We could create a shirt that says "I graduated during a quarantine." Or
the only thing
like
there's a couple of companies that'll do it for you, but they take a big cut. So if we could set it up ourselves and just maybe get a little like inventory storage in the basement somewhere, then maybe we can keep more of the profit. But
so what the heck is virtual graduation?
Where was Emily Van Horn when we talked about this already? Wait, hold on a sec before we address this question. Tone, what did they decide about AP Calc? They didn't make a decision yet?
No, not yet. We were leaning towards 5 periods for regular calc, 10 periods for AP Calc.
But that hasn't been decided. I thought it was decided already.
Maybe it has been, but I haven't heard like for sure. Okay, but I think that's the plan right as of now.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be 7 or 8, only because you can't have a 7-period class and then pick up another class. It's gonna overlap. So they're gonna have to either make it 5 or 10. And I think what Mr. Gongora just said, for Calc is gonna be 5, and then AP Calc will be 10.
Yeah, Miss Zakova for AP Calc was definitely into having 10 periods as opposed to 7. Yeah, she wanted more. So
Emily, I'll rehash what we already said about graduation, because it was asked earlier and we covered it earlier. It's not, as of last week, it was decided we were going to have a virtual graduation. So that's when the information basically went out to all the students and families in the Google Classrooms. And then when Governor Murphy made his decision this week, there really hasn't been much in terms of specifics. It was specifics when I say Governor Murphy was pretty specific, but specifics from the Office of Emergency Management and from the State Department of Ed. So whatever we propose, we have to pass it by them to get approval. And something that's been mentioned is a drive-through graduation. The issue with drive-through is I think there are 300. You guys may know better than me. I think there's 300 seniors somewhere around that ballpark, and we don't have that many spots in the front of the building. So, logistically, they would have to figure that out and put a plan together before we could move forward. I'm not saying that won't happen. All I'm saying is it's being considered. But it had been decided that it would be some sort of a virtual graduation, and they're going to reassess based on what the state allows us to do. So I guess more information is coming soon.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of time in order to switch up plans and think of what's going to be the best and what we're allowed to do. So we have some time. Graduation's still a little bit over a month away. So a month away.
Yeah, and someone just said by major. I don't know if they do it by major. Something that's been thrown out is by academy. Maybe they do something like that. Again, it's not a decision that's going to come from myself or anybody on this podcast. That's going to come from, they have to be decided by the state. They have to approve what we're doing. So if the Office of Emergency Management isn't in agreement with what we propose, then they're gonna shut it down. So, but that is by major may be a little bit tough. But by academy, I think we could do 3 sessions.
By academy, 3 sessions.
Yeah, we could do that. Again, it's just a matter of do they approve it. I'm just gonna mute my mic while you guys are talking because my son's yelling.
Even with virtual, it'd be easier to do it by academy. That would be.
Well, I think if we're going to do something that's strictly virtual, the whole idea is just like everybody can watch it at the same time. Everybody can do it, so we can keep the whole school sort of together.
We don't want you to move it on Zoom either. It's. I don't know. Sometimes it's even hard to talk about that. But.
Yeah, and if it was virtual, I would assume it would be on a platform that everybody could get to. I would assume it would be on YouTube since we're a Google school. I would assume it's going to be on YouTube so that it's a Google product. But obviously they're putting those things together right now. In terms of Zoom, I see the max on Zoom is 1,000 people. Our district isn't even allowing teachers to use Zoom anymore. So we're not even supposed to be using Zoom because of the issues with, I guess it was people breaking in and getting the codes or something like that.
Yeah, there was hackers. There's hackers for rooms.
Okay. Yeah, we
educational rooms.
We did have a meeting about it yesterday with a small little technology team. And the district is considering buying it. And once you purchase Zoom, you can get a lot more security features. But that's not going to happen in the next month. This is maybe something for next school year if we have more online stuff that we have to do in the upcoming school year, which hopefully we won't. But who knows?
I miss you, Emily. She's funny. She cracks me up too. We went to a Zoom.
Who was teaching Algebra 2 over the summer?
Me.
Gongora.
And Miss Loff. So you have a 50-50 chance. You either get me or Miss Loff. Greco is teaching pre-calc. Miss Cruz is teaching geometry. And Miss Urbano is teaching Algebra 1 to incoming freshmen. So that is none of you. But so Madeline, if you're interested, make sure you just fill out the form that was emailed by Mr. Greco today.
Yeah, when it comes to Zoom, we use Google Classroom. We use Google Meet. So we haven't really had a need for Zoom. Right? I don't think any of our meetings was the first meeting we did as a faculty on Zoom.
No, that was Google Meet.
That was Google Meet too. Yeah, all of our meetings have been on Google Meet. So I haven't had a need for. I've been in a Zoom, but I've never needed to run a Zoom or schedule a Zoom. Google does everything that I guess Zoom would do. Any other questions here? I'm looking for the link still to send out that email for you guys.
For the parents?
Anybody doing anything cool this weekend? It's going to be 80 degrees today.
So Miss Van Horn sent me an email. I have 2 questions. When is the last day of classes for seniors? Is it the 11th? And then when will the final decision for how graduation will be conducted be announced? That final decision is in limbo right now. They're waiting for the State Department of Education to make more formalized recommendations. So although Governor Murphy said what he said, and I've been sent that article by like 3 or 4 different people, and again, everything I get, I forward to Dr. Camarella. There haven't been any specifics by the Office of Emergency Management, and then logistically, if we did a drive-through graduation, we couldn't do the whole student body because we don't have enough parking spots. So we would have to do some kind of break it up in some way. And then the 11th, I believe that was sent out. Is that the exact date?
Yes.
That is the date. Okay, I didn't want to say yes before I pulled up that email. But yeah, the 11th is the last day. And then Tone, do you know when senior grades are due? Do you have that open?
Senior grades are due on the 11th. So June 11th, the final grades for everything for the seniors is due at 3 p.m. So that way the guidance counselors can get all of the final transcripts together and get them sent off where they need to go. For everybody else, for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, your grades are due on June 16th from the teachers. So seniors, you really have to get that last day of school, your grades are due. That's it. So if you're struggling in a little bit of class, you're worried about like a 1 or 2 points different, just make sure you're staying on top of it and realize that is a hard deadline, not like the end of third marking period where we got a lot of an extension. The grades for this marking period are very hard deadlines, so that way we can turn over the school year and get everything finalized for the summer. So June 11th for seniors, June 16th for everybody else, and then June 19th is the last day of school and graduation. I know usually we have a lot of, we just all kind of hang out for a couple days, that last couple days, but those 3 days in there just give everybody time to do whatever they need to do to close out the school year. Usually it's a nice little hangout that you guys get to spend with each other. This time maybe we'll make a meeting that maybe we can make like a little senior hangout meeting kind of thing. But
plus we could send out transcripts as soon as the grades are final in the system. Then we could start posting everything on Common App, send EDU. If there are colleges that are outside of Common App, seniors have to let us know, and then we can get them over to them. And Ms. Baldessari, I did post that in Google Classroom as well, that the Obamas are giving a speech for the class of 2020.
Yeah,
so
tomorrow.
Hopefully the seniors check it out. Thank you.
I think that's a lot of people on that show.
I posted something else I got to see for the senior class. There's a lot of different things going on. Yeah, okay. That's the thing on Fox at 8 p.m. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's on. I think everybody, ABC, CBS,
Yeah.
Fox, NBC, they're all gonna simulcast it.
I think Rachel Verga said she sent in something to try to be on it, so we might see her on it or something. So
cool.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. Looks like LeBron James will be on there. Jonas Brothers, Bad Bunny.
I changed channel for that one.
Come on, Jonas Brothers. That's Jersey right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't even on the Jersey thing. The Jersey Strong concert. It was weird.
I didn't even know when that was.
There was one with all Jersey comedians, musicians, and they weren't on it. So I was wondering why.
Yeah, this will be all over TV tomorrow. If anybody still watches TV, but here's Miss Alvarez is in and out.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you before again. I think it's my Wi-Fi.
It's always a mystery,
Can you hear me?
right? If there's a ninth period on half day.
Yeah, Kath, we hear you.
Okay, just making sure.
Did we use our the balance on our taco gift card from
Emily?
holiday season?
Yeah.
No,
we still have $25.
Oh man.
We still have money because every time we sent Miss Alvarez to go pick it up, she put it on her credit card.
Yeah, she forgets the gift card, right?
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
But so Emily, we're gonna think of you next year when we have tacos for lunch.
Underclassmen, remember, we like tacos.
The best gift ever.
Yeah, that was very, very thoughtful and very nice.
Yeah. I miss those tacos.
Yeah, you can still go get them. You just have to drive to Chicago.
I know. I don't feel like driving all the way there.
It only,
Maybe I'll get them when I go to
takes
the school.
it only takes 15 minutes to drive there.
Yeah,
There's
no traffic right now.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll go drive there when I am. I'm gonna pass by the school to go pick up my mouse. Did I tell you I left my mouse at school?
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy.
I maybe Steve would know better than me, but it sounded like there might be some days that we have to go in at the end of the year to do something.
Yeah, it sounded like that too.
I do not know that for sure. I've been told that some of the administrators will be going in, probably starting in June, towards the end of June, and obviously, we're working over the summer, so I will be going in at least 2 or 3 days, a week over the summer. But I don't have specifics on that stuff. I don't know about teachers either. That I'm not sure about. Again, after June 5th, June 5th is the date that, based on what Governor Murphy said, nobody's supposed to be in the building anyway, right? Students can't be in the building. Nobody can be in the building until June 5th. After June 5th, I think that's when we're looking for a little bit more, I don't know.
More flexibility.
Flexibility in what we can do. I don't know if we can actually make the call on anything at this point. You know what I mean? So when people, even when it goes back to graduation, we can't make the call that we're going to do some of these things because nothing's been lifted and it won't be lifted until June 5th. So it puts us in a tough situation. And again, questions about graduation started probably a month ago. A decision was made, and then a couple of days later, Murphy puts this out, and then based on the timing, maybe now we can reassess. I don't know. So we're kind of in limbo. But again, we've been in limbo this entire time.
Yeah. Unless anybody from the feed has another question or two, I think we're gonna start to wrap it up. Unless you guys have something else you want to talk about. Like Mr. Buscio said, it's gonna be really nice this weekend, nice and warm. It's warm out today, so try to get outside. Try to, get some sunshine, do some exercise.
Just don't go to the Jersey Shore because it's gonna be a madhouse.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna go over Memorial Day weekend, but
No way.
no. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to go one weekend, or maybe a day when after the end of school, we'll sneak a weekday off and go hang out.
I'm just eager to hear the governor after the weekend about reports of what happened this weekend since everything's open.
I really hope to go, so I hope you guys are completely wrong.
You're going?
I mean, I want to. I don't know if I can or not. My wife is working, but I would love to go down.
I know my wife wants to go. We usually go to Sandy Hook, which is pretty quiet anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And just so everybody knows, the juniors, I just sent that junior guidance podcast to all the parents and students. So if you didn't get to see it,
Cool.
You will see it now.
It was informational and funny as some children entered and started talking while the counselor was talking. It was good time.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Rappaport's son would come in,
son.
hug her, and it was as soon as her slide came up and it was her turn to talk. It was amazing.
Yeah,
So
she was left alone until she started talking. And
yeah.
then,
Yeah. He knew exactly when to come in. It was awesome. It made it for a better presentation for us.
And Tom, we'll send this out to everybody too, right?
Yeah.
Parents and students. I guess that's important too, since all these graduation questions are coming up. It's probably important for everybody to hear on the
Yeah.
podcast that we really don't have the information. We have to wait for the state to kind of direct us a little bit more before we can, determine that.
Yeah, Emily, just relay the message to all your peers that we kind of answered to the best of our ability of what all of us kind of know. That's all we know that's happening.
Molly. Why did Molly said she
Why do you
wanted to
feel like
puke
you're
the
gonna
entire
puke the
time?
entire time?
Nervous,
Stressful? It's
probably.
not supposed to be.
Yeah.
It'd be okay. Just email us if you need anything. We could easily
Oh, you
Google
mean
me
during
too
our
if you
presentation?
need.
She felt like she was.
Yeah. Yeah. She's mine, so.
I only listened to
mind
5
Google
minutes. I got to
meeting with
listen
you,
to the whole
Molly.
thing now.
It was an hour and 15 minutes long.
It was long. It was long. We got into depth with everything. So
Whenever I think I did it when we did it last year, Mike Raw was like, "All right, let's go," and I'm like, "There's a lot more to go, so
yeah.
can't wrap it up."
I like doing them in person. Then I could walk down the aisle in the theater and call out the kids who are not listening, like I did last year. It was fun.
Yeah.
The microphone, like, what did I just say? And they're like, Definitely a lot at once, but we step by step, Molly. If you need anything, you just ask us.
But again, it's on YouTube, right? So they can go back and watch the YouTube, write the notes that apply to them.
Yeah, but like the websites are kind of confusing. Probably like Common App and stuff. Sometimes they stress out about navigating through those websites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the easy part. Now you just got to figure out how to pay for
it's
it.
Nicer in person.
Again, I hate to say it this way, but I was never stressed about college. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't.
Where'd you go to college?
I had a full scholarship to NJIT, so I started NJIT and then graduated from Rutgers.
You had a full scholarship to NJIT?
I wasn't stressed because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then I figured it out as I went with it.
Yeah, well, I started as a chemical engineer and then got into math. Yeah, because I played basketball, so I had a scholarship for basketball.
Yeah, my mother, at the time that I was in high school, my mother was a guidance counselor. So she
man.
I know. Well, she walked me through everything exactly I had to do, and I got into a lot of schools. I got a few scholarships for lacrosse, and I went to Air Force. So that was without her help, I would have never been able to figure out exactly when you're supposed to do what. And there was no internet. This is 94. There's you had to call people. You had to mail them a letter.
Yeah, I was I guess, talking about college experiences, I guess, since I was being recruited, I had, 4 coaches that would send you the application, and I just sent back the application. So they would send it to me. I would just send it back. Fill it out and send it back. I didn't actually pursue any college. You know what I mean? So I guess, because I played basketball, I didn't take college visits wanting to go there on my own. I always went because they were recruiting.
Right.
So I guess it was a little bit different from that perspective. But I actually applied to Stevens in Hoboken. That's really where I wanted to go. Obviously too expensive, so I didn't go there.
Stevens is awesome.
Yeah, I took the money.
Every time I go there, I'm really impressed with them. Every time I go for like a tour they're very good school.
Especially if you're looking for a smaller school, it's a great smaller school.
Yeah.
And this even applies to the freshmen and sophomores. You could do virtual tours right now. There's websites that are available. So I think it's UTours. Let me see.
I'm trying to think where I know I went to Stevens. I went to NJIT. I went to Columbia in the city. They were recruiting me. I think those were the 3 schools. The one school I should have went to, and Tony, I've told you about this before. Coast Guard, they were recruiting me. I should have pursued that a little bit more. And Coast Guard, again, that was free. I wasn't really interested in doing that when I could have went to college for free. Doing that, and then a 5-year commitment.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to the NBA a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be a rock star. That's why I didn't really. I was in a band at college.
I don't know. The one thing I definitely remember is I remember going on like a summer trip with my mother. It's a shame that a lot of that is not going to be open to the juniors this year. But my mother and I definitely took a drive up to Maine and then like hit a couple of colleges as we went up the coast.
Nice.
Ate some lobster. You know, it was,
Amazing. I want to go back.
Lobster and a lot of butter. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think through basketball. I've seen so many schools like on the East Coast, Connecticut, Providence is a beautiful campus. Brown, University of Rhode Island is beautiful. You know, a lot of those schools on the East Coast really are nice. So, I'm telling your mother was spoiling you, man.
no.
You know,
I think we did during spring break. We went down south, and then during the summer we took like a 3 or 4 days and went up north. I was really impressed with some of the schools in Maryland and Virginia. They were all very, very nice down there as well.
I've been to the University of Maryland to watch a basketball game down there. The campus is huge. And again, I think that's the biggest thing. You got to decide if you want a big school or a smaller school because it's completely different. Completely different.
James Madison was my second choice. JMU.
I've never been there.
It was very nice, but they were only D2, so I was like, do I want to go to a D2 school or do I want to try to play D1? And then they weren't going to give me really much there, and then Air Force was free.
Well, and that's the thing. If it's free, that's more or less why I made my decision.
Yeah, I should have went. I only stayed at Air Force for 2 years, and then I transferred.
I had the opportunity to be EOF, so I took it with my undergrad.
That's the thing. Any money that you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what you're looking to study, you know.
And there's something called a graduate assistantship, and I did that for my master's, and they help pay for my tuition as well. You work on campus,
oh my God.
And they help pay for your master's too. It could happen. It's like you do a job interview. It's like a regular job.
Yeah, like a student assistant, grad assistant kind of thing. All right,
Steve,
that was
I
our.
would say NJIT has changed so much.
Yeah.
What is it, Kath? I'm sorry, you're calling in and out.
NJIT, they've changed so much since you went. I used to go to NJIT for the food because I went to Rutgers Newark, and when I went to the campus last year, it was beautiful. They changed the campus.
Well, again, when I went to NJIT, they were D3 the year before I went. The year I went, it was the first year they were Division II, so they had scholarships. And then their plan was to go Division I. So their plan at the time was to go from D2 to D1 within 2 years. It took a lot longer than 2 years, but at this point, they are Division I. They redid their whole facility, athletic facility. So I know they had to put a lot of money into it, or else they wouldn't have had. They wouldn't have been able to go.
School's completely different.
Yeah, the food in the cafeteria was always good though.
That's why I used to go there. I used to go there to eat.
The pasta station, chicken cheesesteaks. I lived on chicken cheesesteaks.
Oh man, I want one right now.
They're so good.
You guys had a Taco Bell. You had a Taco Bell in your campus.
That may have been
Remember
after.
Taco Bell?
I don't remember Taco Bell at NJIT. I remember the food carts. You ever go to the food carts? Over by the architecture building. Again, great. Mr. Simon went to NJIT, so he would know this. But there was all the food carts over by the architecture building, by the parking deck. I forget the names of the streets, but they actually had one called the Fat Tony. It was like a double cheeseburger. They had all like names. You know what I mean? Like Italian.
Yeah, I remember.
Gangster names. And these sandwiches were huge, man. You eat these sandwiches, it would be like $10, and you couldn't do anything for the next hour. Like you needed a nap.
And they're probably delicious.
They said if you could eat three. If you could eat 3 sandwiches, they would make a sandwich after your name.
That's true. You could barely.
You talk about the Rutgers food challenge, the truck.
Well, that used to be at NJIT, so I'm sure.
Yeah, they did the same thing. Yeah. Good times. College was fun.
And with that, I think we'll say goodbye, unless anybody has any closing thoughts here.
Have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Everybody have a good weekend, and we will talk to you next week. And keep your eyes for your email in case anything breaking comes out. We'll be sure to let you all know. And we'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye, guys.